If you're getting posted with the military or RCMP, let me tell you, this will be the most in-depth breakdown you'll find about the relocation process and how to make your posting as smooth as humanly possible. I'm Henrick Mathieu, a real estate agent here in Ottawa. I'm ex-military and someone who's helped tons of military and RCMP members and their family relocate in and out of the city. And I've been to a few postings myself, so I know firsthand how overwhelming and sometimes downright frustrating this whole process can be. And that's exactly why I'm here. I'll help you navigate it to make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table. All right, so before we start, you really have two options. So first one is you watch the video all the way through, then head down to the description and book a call with me and we'll go over everything in detail. Or option number two, skip the video, book a call with me directly and we'll hash everything out in a 45-minute session tailored to you. Now let's be real, this is a huge life change. You're about to uproot everything, pack up, maybe sell a house, and possibly move across country to a city you might know nothing about. I've been there, it's a lot. But there's an upside to all of this. You are embarking on a new journey. You'll meet new people and you'll make a difference in a new community. And for those posted in Ottawa, it's an incredible place to call home, right? It's family friendly, it's welcoming, it's packed with amazing things to do. And if you want to know more about the city, you can check out my channel. So this is a bit of a longer video, so it'll be structured like this. 1, selling your home and benefits. 2, house hunting trip and timeline. 3, moving to your new home. 4, the funding, envelopes, and ending finances. And finally, special circumstances. All right, let's get into it. So number 1, selling your homes and benefit. So you've been posted. Now what? Step 1, immediately register with BGRS and get familiar with the relocation directives. Of course, the point of this video is that I'll walk you through the key points, but do yourself a favor and read it. And you can use the table of content to skip to the parts that are actually applied just for you because you don't need to read the whole thing. So let's talk about the first big decision you'll have to take, right? What to do with your current home. And if you're renting, this is pretty easy. You just let your landlord know that you're moving. And if there's any lease breaking fees, these should be reimbursed. So if you got a home, you got 2 options. First, sell your home. This is the most common choice, obviously, right? The relocation directive covers a lot. Appraisal fees, legal fees, realtor commissions, and even staging costs in some cases, and a lot more. Second option, and people don't know about that, is that you can keep your home because maybe you plan to come back or maybe you want to keep it as an investment property. But either way, this is an option. And the big draw to this is that if you don't sell, you might qualify for the real estate incentives, which can be up to $12,000. It's basically a thank you from the government for saving them on commission fees. Now, if you're in a tough buyer's market or dealing with a tight timeline, there's the Home Equity Assistance Program. If you have to sell your home below market value despite having proper marketing, you could recover up to $30,000 to cover the loss. And if your home doesn't sell in time, there's the Temporary Dual Resistance Assistance, and this helps cover you if you're stuck paying for 2 places at once. So this is definitely a lifesaver that can give you a bit more time to sell your home. Now, we can't talk about selling your property without at least talking about appraisal real quick. So getting your home appraised is a must because so many of the benefits depend on it. You can choose any appraisers you want, just know that it cannot be a family member, and know that BGRS has a list of approved appraisers who won't charge you above the capped rate and bill them directly so you're not out of pocket upfront. One big warning for you, your home must be actively marketed to qualify for most home sale benefits. And that means that your listing price cannot be higher than the appraised value. So for example, if your home is appraised at $400,000, but you listed at $401,000, you're out of luck for those benefits. So if you're in a hard market, stick to the appraisal. It's not worth the risk. There are exceptions to this and your agent will be able to advise you on the best course of action and best pricing strategy for your situation, of course. Now let's review some more benefits that you can claim to make this transition a little easier on your wallet. So legal and building inspection fees are covered. Mortgage penalty reimbursement, that means if there might be fees to breaking your current mortgage and those would be covered. There's also the mortgage interest differential. That means if the interest rate on your mortgage is higher than your current one, you might be eligible to claim the difference, and this could save you a significant chunk of change. Also, bridge financing. If you need a bridge loan while waiting for the proceeds from your current home sales, you can claim the interest on that loan. And bridge loans are super expensive, so you'll want to use this. Now, if you're in a hot seller's market, chances are that you'll sell your home pretty quickly and for a good price, which means you might not even need these benefits. Either way, it's good to know that they are available. Next, it's time to secure your new place. So obviously you're not gonna go and buy a home blindly. So what is the house hunting trip and why are they in place? Well, these are two key tools to help you secure housing before you're being moved. So first up, the house hunting trip, or HHT. Who's eligible? Well, if you haven't secured accommodation in your new location, and by secured, I mean signed documentation, not just I'm on the PMQ list, then you are entitled to an HHT. If you already have a housing lined up, you are eligible for a destination inspection trip instead, a DIT, which is 5 days instead of the 7 giving for an HHT. Now, what's covered? Well, the good news is that most of your major expenses are reimbursed. Travel costs like airfare or mileage, if you're driving, are reimbursed, lodging at hotels or other accommodations, and for that you'll need to consult the city rate because every city has their own maximum allowed for each day or each night. And if you crash at a relative's place, you still get $50 per night. Obviously, food is covered, right? You get around $90 per day per person for food, and that means for you, your spouse, and any dependents tagging along. And it still applies even if your hotel includes breakfast. Even childcare costs are covered up to $75 a day with a receipt or $35 a day without, let's say, if grandma watches your kid. And if you're in a situation where you need more time for your trip, you're allowed to extend your trip by an extra 4 days with approval of your chain of command, but after that, any extra days would be at your own expense. So do plan wisely and make the most out of the reimbursed days. In a minute, I will walk you through how we typically handle HHT with our clients. Now, the destination inspection trip is usually closer to your moving date. It will give you a chance to finalize accommodations like, school, sort out all kinds of last minute details. Think of it as a second shot at getting everything set up before you relocate. And the benefits for a DIT are very, very similar to an HHT. Now that we covered the directive for HHT, let's talk about what the timeline of an HHT actually looks like. So I'm not gonna lie, this is a very fast-paced process. And having an agent who understands and have been part of the military makes a big difference. Our approach is structured into 3 key stages. So the preparation, the trip, and the purchase. First, the preparation, and it all starts with the call. We'll go over your situation, needs, the different area of the city, and answer all your questions to make sure that you actually feel comfortable during the process. And from there, we'll set up your own personalized search portal so you can easily browse homes in your new market. 2, the trip. The weekend before your HHT, you will shortlist 15 to 20 homes from the one you liked on your portal. Then I will book 2 full days of showings so we can tour them all. We're gonna fly through this. It's gonna be very intense, but it's part of the process. And by the end of day 2, we should hopefully have 2-3 strong contenders. If not, we'll book another big day on Wednesday. Number 3, the purchase. Hopefully by Wednesday, we will move to an offer. I'll provide market comparables, draft the offer up with you, and handle negotiation. And if our offer is accepted, we'll work through conditions, the main one usually being inspection. If all goes smoothly, you'll head back home knowing that everything is in place, that you just have to wait for your financing to finalize. Don't let yourself be intimidated by the process. Remember that you can ask for an extension for your HHT if needed, and my team and I are here to support you the whole way. You are not alone in this. It's a very intense week, but by having a proven process, we can make it as efficient and stress-free as possible for you so you can focus on your move and your family. Preparation is key. Now moving to your new home. Let's assume that you've sold your house, nailed your house hunting trip, and you bought a new home. What's next? Well, it's time to call base traffic to organize the packing and shipping of your household goods. Here's what the typical timeline looks like. Day 1, packing. Day 2, loading. Day 3, cleaning. Day 4 to 8, travel to new location. More days could be added if you're traveling a lot further out. And day 5, unloading. Day 6, unpacking. Don't worry, professional movers will handle the whole process. They will pack, load, and deliver and unpack everything for you. They are incredibly efficient. So do make sure to keep the stuff that you want to carry with you separate from the rest of the stuff, because I had a client that left everything in the pile and everything was packed and they had nothing for a week. So don't make that mistakes and separate your stuff. They are extremely efficient. There is also a weight limit for your belongings calculated based on the number of qualifying rooms in your current home. So except if you have 7 pianos or a full commercial gym in your basement, you'll be fine. There's also different storage options available to you. So one would be short-term, and that's if there's a gap between leaving one place and moving into the next one, or if your belongings arrive early, then they can stay in storage for 10 days. If for some reason delays stretch beyond that, then you'll need to provide proof that it was due to kind of the circumstance out of your control, meaning something like delayed possession, not that you misread the date on the document. Option 2 is long-term storage, and it's like if you're moving to a very remote or overseas location that you can bring everything with you right away. Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Getting all these moving moving parts to line up perfectly can be really tricky, and that's where the military gives you up to 10 extra days to help everything fall into place. You can claim these days for any part of the process, and you can claim also childcare costs if you need someone to watch the kids while you handle the move. So key takeaway here is really plan your possession dates carefully. It will make your life much easier. So let's talk about TNL, or travel to new location. Now that your stuff has been taken care of, we need to get you and your whole family from point A to point B. The benefit associated to this is all about covering the cost of the actual journey. So let me break it down. So first up, let's look at your travel options. You can drive your privately owned vehicle, or POV, rent a car, or use commercial transportation like flights or trains. Whatever mode of travel works, best for you and your family at that time. If you're driving your POV, you're allowed to travel 500 kilometers per day, except for the last day where you can stretch it up to 600. And you will be, of course, reimbursed for mileage if you use your personal vehicle. Lodging and meals during travel are also reimbursed, so whenever you need to stop at a hotel for the night or grab a meal on the road, those expenses won't come out of your pocket. You'll also be covered for incidental expenses like parking fees or tolls or etc. And if you're traveling with pets or dependents, there's also no problem. The benefit includes allowances for special arrangements, making sure everyone, even your furry friends, gets to your new location comfortably. And if for some reason your family members need to travel separately, their expenses are covered too. Now, unfortunately, some of you might not take possession on your new home in time for your posting, meaning you'll have to stay in a hotel or Airbnb for a little bit. If this is the case, the interim lodging, meal, and miscellaneous expenses, ILMNM, will cover the lodging, meals, and an insanely long list of covered expense during a temporary stay. You can claim these benefits until you move into your permanent home, and here's how it gets even better. If your move requires early packing, loading, or cleaning days, you might qualify for extended ILMNM benefits to cover those extra days. All right, to the section that everyone hates, finances. Let's talk about the AZ funding envelopes. And yes, the sarcasm is quite real. These envelopes, while not being super straightforward, are the bucket of money you can use for eligible expenses during your relocation. They're split into two categories, the core and the custom. It used to be three, they got rid of the personalized envelope, too complicated. This is how they work. Core envelope, and this one is quite simple. It covers all the essential expenses that every member needs to pay for during a move. Example includes the travel to your new location, house hunting trip, home inspection, appraisals, realtor fee, legal costs, etc. The good news is that there's no spending limits on the core expenses, but most items like hotel rates, for example, have caps, so you'll want to stay within those limits to avoid paying out of pocket. Again, no limit to the total envelope, but each individual expenses do, so keep that in mind. Now, the custom envelope is where things get a little more, custom. Right? This covers extra costs that go beyond the limit of the core envelope, things that are specific to your situation. So for example, let's say that you need transport for a second vehicle, you need to extend your HHT, or you have dependent move with you. Well, these expenses will come out of the custom envelope. So there's a way to calculate the amount that your custom envelope allows for your specific situation, but this is somewhat confusing. So I would strongly suggest that you bring this to your BGRS agent during your first appointment to get the calculation done for you. The most important thing here, keep your receipts for everything. Keep them organized in folders, even make copies if you need to, because without those, you will not be reimbursed. So very important to keep your receipts. Once you're settled, it's time to tackle everyone's favorite part, submitting claims. The BGRS process isn't exactly user-friendly, I'll admit. It's a bit of a pain, but you're almost done, so let's finish strong. You upload every receipt using a scanner or take a photo. Their scanner apps is super easy. You create an expense line, and for each receipt, you attach it to your claim. Keep an eye on your claims regularly, because if something gets declined or if they think a picture is not clear enough, there will be a note explaining why. Then you can fix it quickly so your claim doesn't stall and you can get paid faster. If you've taken an advance of funds, which I encourage you to do, by the way, your claims will first go towards paying that back, and the remaining of the amount will be deposited in your account. So just be mindful of your spending and don't accidentally end up owing money to BGRS. And also don't forget that you can book a 30-minute session with BGRS at any time. You're entitled to as many of these sessions as you needed, so take advantage of it. All right, so now I want to go over a few special circumstances that some of you might face. So first, something that's actually pretty common is service couples. If you and your partner serve in the CAF or RCMP, your relocation benefits work a little differently. You get co-location principle, meaning that if you're posting to different location, they'll make an effort to align posting dates. They will also try to combine certain benefits to avoid making this completely overwhelming. If you have to move separately now, you'll receive extra allowances for travel, accommodation, and dependent care. Next is for those of you who are getting posted into very isolated posts like Allard, let's say, right? What you need to know is that you're heading to a remote location with limited access to essential services. So here's how the CAF supports you. They will provide extra financial support for your higher living costs, including transportation of your goods, lodging, meals, etc. The whole ILM&M benefits. You'll also get an additional shipment allowance, which allows you for a larger weight limit on your HG&E due to limited local resources. You also get air priority shipments for essential items when roads or even railways aren't an option, and you'll get extra support for education and healthcare for dependent. And finally, reimbursement for unique expenses necessary to occupy your new position, like better winter equipment, for example. This is not ideal, but it could happen that you are relocating alone. Whether you haven't secured lodging prior to your posting date or you opt for IR or imposed restriction, the CAF has your back. So temporary housing and meal costs would be covered. There's travel allowance to support family reunions and dependent visits. There's long-term storage for items that stays behind, and there is help for childcare and home maintenance for your family. It's never easy for anyone when the family has to temporarily split for work, but these benefits should help reduce the stress and financial strain a little bit. Wow, that was a lot to digest, but bear in mind that the relocation directive is 173 pages long, so I obviously couldn't cover everything. I try to make it as concise as possible, but I do hope that you feel more confident going through your posting and that you won't leave any money on the table. Obviously, if you're getting posted in Ottawa, my team and I would love to help you relocate, and if you're getting posted anywhere else, I can still help you and at least introduce you to a trusted agent in whatever city you're moving to. So thank you for watching, thank you for your service, and good luck with your posting.